actually rise up to the vision that you have for your life. So as your vision for your life grows, we need to continue to reevaluate and rewire our self-worth. So very important to know that. And what is self-worth and self-esteem? Self-worth and self-esteem are basically the idea and the definition and the value that you give to yourself and how happy you are with who you are. And it also has to do with what you think you deserve and what you're worthy of. So when you realize that your worth does not change and that your worth is unconditional, then you're able to be more free and you're able to observe and be more hyper aware of how you're compromising and how you're conditioning your self-worth. So today I'm going to give you 6 steps that will help you stop conditioning your self-worth and really go deep into living a life that is more that is free from needing people's approval, people's admiration to be happy. Okay, let's talk about those steps. So originally, the way our self-worth is wired is through when we're little, we are born with, no consciousness of how much we're worth and what we need to do to earn people's admiration. But as we're growing up, we start seeing that if we do certain things, people pay more attention, and we start craving as human beings, especially as women, the admiration, the affirmation, the acknowledgement, the acceptance of the people that matter to us. Originally and normally is our parents, our mom, our dad, our friends, grandparents, and people who we live with. And then as we go into the environment and out of the house, out of the home, we start looking for that appreciation, that acceptance, that admiration at school and in the other environments that we actually participate in, right? So it is important to know that as we're growing up, we start just doing things and we start figuring out, okay, what things really get people to look at me and love me. And if we don't have really strong values and we don't understand the value and the level of worth that we have, we start just becoming puppets to actually doing what people want so that we can get their acceptance, their admiration, their love. So it's very important to know this, not only for us, but also for our children. And in the Women's School, we really touch on these topics and we go deep into how to really rewire our worth. But today I'm only going to give you a brief explanation so that you can start running with some of the steps I'm going to share today. But if you need a deeper healing and a deeper rewire, feel free to message me or comment below so that I can give you more tools on how you can do that, okay? Now, the first step that I always recommend is to actually treat yourself as you would treat a dear friend or your best friend. Like, really, we are so kind to our friends. We are so kind to the people that we love. But when it comes to us, making a mistake or doing something wrong or taking forever for something, we tend to be very harsh on ourselves. So I want you to catch yourself. If you're being harsh with yourself and if you're being too tough and too hostile, to understand that doing this is not serving you. It's actually probably creating a lot of stress. It's actually creating a lot of resentment, and that is going to show up on the way you treat other people unconsciously, subconsciously, and it's actually going to make you a resentful person and an unhappy woman. So let's start watching how we treat ourselves and start loving ourselves more. I think to the next, really to an exponential level, because the way our society has been wired is people are just, there's this fake humility where we have to be mean to ourselves and really nice to others. But I think it should actually be the other way around, because if you're nice to yourself and if you accept yourself, you're definitely going to be a better friend, a better husband, wife, and a better human being overall. So very important to love ourselves first, and that will change the game for us. Okay, now the second step is remember that your value doesn't change. Your value doesn't change based on how much you make. Your value does not change when you have a nicer body or when you lose weight or when you gain weight. Your value does not change. Imagine that you have $100 bill and you give it to your baby or your daughter, your toddler, because toddlers like to do this, and they crumble that bill into a ball. They throw it on the floor, they step on it, they smash it, and then you're like, oh my God, where's the dollar bill? And you grab the dollar bill and you're like, oh, give it back to me. I need that bill. And then you open it up and you say, the value of that bill doesn't change. You know, even if you smash it and trash it and do whatever you want, that value doesn't change. The same thing happens with yourself. Like, no matter how many mistakes you've made, no matter how much weight you gain after your baby, or how much weight you lost, or if you lost your job, or if you made a mistake, your value does not change. And remember, your worth and your value is unconditional. Unconditional. Is not conditioned to anything, because you were created by God and you are loved no matter what. So once we know that, that gives us so much freedom to accept ourselves and to live a life of wholeness that we wouldn't otherwise. And a lot of people live a life depending on an income, a job, a body, a certain type of lifestyle to define their worth, when in reality, your worth is already high. It's just a matter of you wiring your brain to understand that, okay? And that's part of what we're doing today, right? Now, the third step that I want to give you today is to observe your self in the moments where you don't set boundaries, to start setting boundaries to other people so they understand where to stop when it comes to your choices. If you say yes to everyone and you don't know how to say no, you will end up being unhappy and feeling resentful. So start practicing the skill of courage and saying no when it's necessary to say no, saying yes when you want to say yes, and not being afraid of losing people's approval, people's admiration for actually doing things you really feel like doing and being true to yourself. That will liberate you and give you so much peace and freedom. You have no idea how amazing it is to say no when you want to say no. Excuse me, I just moved the camera. Just kicked my tripod. But anyway, let's go to step number 4. Remember that what you've done, and I already said this, but I want to say it in a different way. What you've done in the past doesn't define you, and it doesn't change your worth. Actually, you don't have, like, one thing I learned from Lisa Nichols years ago is, like, you want to remind yourself and say this to yourself every time that you're feeling like that you're conditioning yourself worth. Say, I'm not here to prove anything. I'm not here to produce anything. I'm not here to be perfect. And I'm not here to actually, what's the other one? I'm not here to produce. I have to prove, produce, pretend, or protect anything, because you are worth what you're worth. And that doesn't change based on producing, protecting, being perfect. So remember that you don't have to you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to please anyone to be worthy. You are you, and you do the things that you feel that are right and that are aligned to your values, and that's it. Okay, you are free to be yourself. Now, the last thing I want to say is the rewiring process to really get your self-worth to where you need it to be is a process that takes time. I want you to be patient with yourself. And if you can have a mentor or a coach helping you with that, that is even better, because there are things that you won't see that a mentor or a coach will be able to see, right? So having help and accountability when it comes to your worth, and having someone who reminds you, hey, you are saying yes to things that you don't want to do. Remember that. Remember you're protecting your self-worth. Don't do it. Having someone who's holding you accountable like that is super helpful. But in the meantime, what you can do to start kind of rewiring yourself, although this is just like the tip of the iceberg, is to start using affirmations. Affirmations like I am statements. So saying I am worthy of love regardless of what I do. So I am worthy. I am loved. I am worthy of X, Y, and Z, whatever it is you're trying to achieve or have. What if it's about money, if it's about a partner, if it's about a home, or saying like I'm worthy of a beautiful marriage. I'm worthy of an abundance life. I'm worthy of living my dreams. Start practicing saying this when you're feeling that there's a negative voice coming up in your mind, and that will help you start rewiring your self-worth. And if you want to go deeper, feel free to go in the comments and look for the resources that I offer so that you can get to a deeper level and really rise above whatever's holding you back. All right, loves, I hope this video helped you. I'll see you in the next video. Check out the comment section, subscribe to my channel if you like this content, and share the video if you think it was helpful. You never know who may benefit from these topics and these amazing information we're sharing here. I'll see you soon, and have an amazing day.